Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the smell of smoke. At first, you think it is just a neighbor burning leaves, but then you hear the alarm screaming through your own house. Your heart races. You jump out of bed, and the air is already thick, choking you with every breath. The fire is inside your home. In seconds, everything changes. This is the nightmare that millions fear, but few truly prepare for. And tonight, it became real for Daniel, a father of two living in a quiet town in the United States. He never thought this could happen to him. Like many of us, he believed disasters were something you only saw on the news. But as flames swallowed his living room, he realized how wrong he had been. Have you ever asked yourself what would happen if a fire destroyed your home right now? Would your family be safe? Would your savings be enough to rebuild? Would you have a plan, or would you be left standing in ashes with nowhere to go? This story is not just about Daniel. It is a lesson for every one of us. The fire started small, in the kitchen, from an electrical short circuit. Within minutes, the flames spread like a wild beast, devouring furniture, curtains, and memories. Daniel grabbed his children and ran outside. His wife followed, clutching only her phone. They stood on the front lawn, barefoot, shivering in the cold night, watching their home burn to the ground. Imagine that moment. The place where you raise your children, the walls that held laughter, birthdays, and Christmas mornings, all reduced to smoke. Neighbors gathered, fire trucks arrived, but it was too late. By dawn, nothing remained but blackened wood and the smell of lost. Now, here is where most people panic. Without insurance, a fire like this can leave a family bankrupt. According to data from 2025, the average cost to rebuild a home in the USA is over $300,000. In the UK, it is close to £250,000. How many families have that money sitting in the bank? Not many. But Daniel was one of the lucky ones. Months earlier, he had finally listened to his friend's advice and bought comprehensive home insurance. At the time, he almost skipped it. He thought the monthly payments were a waste. He thought, why pay for something that may never happen? Tonight, that decision saved his future. When the insurance team arrived, they did not just offer money. They offered hope. Temporary housing was arranged for Daniel's family. Essential belongings were replaced quickly. And while the process of rebuilding took time, he knew he was not alone. His policy covered the cost of reconstruction, furniture, and even the emotional counseling his children needed after the trauma. Think about that for a moment. A small monthly payment less than the cost of a family dinner protected Daniel from financial ruin. How many of us ignore this safety net? How many of us gamble with everything we own simply because we think bad things happen only to others? But let me ask you, what if tonight was your turn? Would you be ready, or would you stand outside your burning home? Realizing too late that you had no backup plan to fire taught Daniel a painful truth. Disasters do not knock before they enter. They do not wait until you are ready. They strike when you least expect them. In 2025, house fires in the USA and UK are rising due to electrical faults, outdated wiring, and even the increased use of home heating during extreme weather. It is not just bad luck, it is reality. Daniel's story is emotional, yes, but it is also educational. He learned the hard way, and through his experience, you can learn too. Home insurance is not just about money. It is about peace of mind. It is about knowing that when the worst happens, your family will not sleep on a stranger's couch or beg relatives for help. It is about dignity and security. As Daniel watched the first wall of his new house being built, months after the fire, he realized something powerful. The fire had taken everything, but insurance gave it all back. His children now had a safe place again. His wife no longer cried at night, wondering about their future. And he could finally breathe, knowing he had made the right decision. But the real question is, what about you? What decision will you make? The months after the fire were not easy. Daniel's family lived in temporary housing arranged by the insurance company. At first, it felt strange, someone else's walls, someone else's furniture, a place that was not home. His children asked every night, "When will we go back?" Those words cut deeper than the fire itself. But each time Daniel felt overwhelmed. He reminded himself of one thing. At least they had a roof over their heads. Without insurance, his family would have been homeless. He had read stories of families forced to live in motels or cramped apartments because they had no financial backup. In 2025, reports from both the USA and UK show thousands of families every year falling into poverty after losing their homes to fire, flood, or storms simply because they had no insurance. Daniel refused to be one of them. The process of rebuilding was long. Insurance inspectors walked through the ashes, noting every loss. They did not just look at bricks and wood. They asked about furniture, electronics, clothing, even the children's school supplies. Daniel was surprised. He thought insurance would only cover the structure, but his policy also protected personal belongings. Every burnt memory, from the family couch to his daughter's laptop, was part of the claim. Can you imagine the relief he felt? It was like someone handing him a second chance at life. Yes, he still carried the trauma of that night, but at least he did not carry the crushing weight of financial ruin. One evening, while visiting the construction site of his new house, Daniel stood with his insurance agent. The man told him, "This is why we tell people never to underestimate risk. You cannot control fire, storms, or accidents, but you can control how prepared you are." Those words stayed with Daniel. Now, let's pause and ask, how prepared are you? Would your insurance cover your family's clothes, electronics, and temporary housing? Or do you only have basic coverage that pays for part of the structure? Think carefully, because in 2025, rebuilding costs are higher than ever. And cutting corners can cost more in the long run. As weeks turned into months, Daniel's children began to smile again. His wife found comfort in the counseling sessions that the insurance also covered. Many people overlook this part, but trauma can last longer than the physical damage. Insurance is not just about replacing bricks and wood. It is also about helping families heal emotionally. When the new house was finally ready, the family stepped inside with tears in their eyes. Fresh paint, strong walls, new furniture. It was not the same as the old home, but it was a new beginning. Daniel realized something powerful. Without insurance, the fire would have been the end of his story. With insurance, it became the start of a new chapter. But here's the twist. Daniel did not just stop at protecting himself. He began speaking at community events, warning others about the dangers of living unprotected. He shared his story with neighbors, friends, even strangers, because he knew how close he had come to losing everything. Do not wait for disaster, he would say. Prepare now. Because when it happens, and trust me, it can happen, you will thank yourself for being ready. So let me ask you again. If disaster struck tonight, would you be ready? Would your family have somewhere safe to go? Would your children have clothes to wear tomorrow? Or would you be left standing in the cold, wishing you had made a different choice? Statistics from 2025 tell a chilling truth. In the USA, nearly 40% of households still do not carry full home insurance coverage. In the UK, around 1 in 5 homeowners underinsure their properties, meaning they would not receive enough money to rebuild after a major disaster. These are not just numbers. They are families, children, lives shattered because of one overlooked decision. Daniel's story is a reminder that life is unpredictable. Fires, floods, storms, they do not wait until you are ready. They strike fast, and they strike hard. The only question is, will you be ready to rise again, or will you fall with the ashes? As Daniel stood in his new living room, he looked at his children playing and thought about that terrifying night. He realized something he would never forget. Insurance had not just given him money. It had given him time, safety, dignity, and the chance to rebuild dreams. So here is the truth for every viewer listening right now. Insurance is not an expense. It is an investment in your future. It is the difference between despair and hope, between losing everything and starting again. If you take one thing from Daniel's story, let it be this: do not wait until it is too late. Protect your family, protect your memories, and protect your future. Because when the fire comes, and one day it might, you will want to be ready. And as Daniel himself says, the fire took everything, but insurance gave it all back. That is why today, I am not broken. I am stronger. Now the question is, when life tests you, will you be ready to say the same?